If somebody wants to understand what is going on in the Middle East, they have to understand the Jewish refugees from Arab countries.
Buried beneath the headlines of the Mideast conflict is the forgotten story of the region's indigenous Jewish communities. In 1945, up to 1 million Jews lived in the Middle East outside of the Palestine Mandate. Within a few years, only a few thousand remained.
There was a short period in Jewish history where the Jews who were expelled from Palestine by the Babylonia were or had to be exiled to Babylon. So many, some hundreds of thousands of them, nobody knows exactly, had to go there. This question of precedence in territories is a very fascinating one, because the many Arab countries say, oh, we are an Arab country, these Jews are like intruders from the outside, and therefore we hate them. That they could say in the Christian world. The Jews, for the most part, came to the Christian world after the war of Christianity. But in many of these countries, for example, North Africa, Egypt, Babylonia, Jews preceded the Arabs by many centuries, and sometimes by millennium. The status of dhimmi, which means the protected people, and applied equally on Jews and Christians, was not always uniformly and equally applied on all lands of Islam. And that law of the dhimmi under Islamic law sometimes was abused of for the wrong, and sometimes Jews got a much better status, in fact, than what was prescribed by the Sharia.
Even when dhimmi laws were not rigidly enforced, the culture of dhimmi, of minority submission, still shaped attitudes toward Jews.
I was born in Morocco, in the city of Fez, which used to be the capital city of Morocco over many centuries. What I remember from my childhood, because I was there until the age of 13 or 13 and a half, was that I grew up in fear. That's the most striking thing. In fear because every time somebody ran up the stairs, my mother used to run and lock the door. I always asked why. She said, oh, the Arabs make Arabs. And then when I grew up, I examined historically, and it turns out in 1912, there was a big uprising in Fez, and a couple of hundred Jews were massacred by the Arabs, Muslims, in Morocco. And since then, the Jews are living together, and they are very much afraid.
Nationalist leaders often made Jews a scapegoat for social discontent.
There was a pattern of Arab government, state-sanctioned, indeed state-orchestrated repression, which included intimidation, harassment, beatings, persecution, and even murder.
Many political parties, like even in the 40s, when the Ba'ath Party, of which everybody talks today, was exactly born along this line, some kind of dictatorial, let's say, thinking about the thing that where nationalism was very strong, exactly like National Socialism in Germany.
Arab governments placed new pressures on Jews that made conditions unbearable.
We're talking about Nuremberg-type laws which criminalized being a Jew and characterized Jews as enemies of the state, which stripped Jews of their citizenship, which sequestered or forcibly seized their property and assets.
In 1941, there was one nationalist leader, Kailani, who organized a big uprising against the British occupiers and so forth, and they take the same opportunity to massacre the Jews. And in Farhud, they also massacred the Jews. The British interfered, and after they massacred what they massacred, the things ended. But it has to be always pointed out that anti-British sentiment went with anti-Semitic sentiment. Peace will not depend on my belief. Peace will depend on certain things that have to happen. First of all, accommodation. That is to say, the Arabs have to realize that the Jewish state is here to stay, and to make peace with it, and then to negotiate the terms. We want this, we want that, that's legitimate. But if you want to destroy your neighbor, you can never have peace. That's my main problem with them. If there is a recognition and accommodation, the sky is the limit. Everything is possible.